Welcome, everyone, to the Success Elevated podcast. As always, I'm your host, Hayden Lee, and I'm joined this week by a very special guest, one of our internal team members here at Spot On Solutions, Sierra Brady. Sierra, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for letting me come back.
We did the roundtable last week.
Yep.
And that was a ton of fun. So we've decided we want to kind of do a few more of these things where we have internal team members here at Spot On Solutions come in and talk different marketing topics. So we're going to call it Spot On Solutions Talks. And this week we're talking social media.
I love it.
Thanks for coming on the podcast, Sierra.
I'm excited to be here.
We're going to talk all things social media. Social media is not necessarily, well, it is something that you do, but it's not why you were originally hired here.
It is not.
You were hired at Spot On Solutions as what?
I was hired originally just as a graphic designer.
Okay.
After I had been stolen from Get Found First. Originally, I was hired by Get Found First.
Okay.
And then swapped over to Spot On Solutions.
Awesome.
Take over all the graphic design stuff.
Yeah, we've kind of mentioned it multiple times before on the podcast. We have two sister companies here. We have Spot On Solutions, Get Found First, and we kind of work in the same building, and we'll occasionally work on projects together and stuff like that. Spot On Solutions, we had a big time need for our own graphic designer. We have clients that come to us with questions all the time. Hey, can I change this logo? Can I do this? And we've kind of been doing it as best we can on our own, or farming projects out to Get Found First that we occasionally need.
Yes.
But we decided, let's just see if we can pull one of the graphic designers from Get Found First and pull them over to SOS. And it's been a big help. You work a lot with Melissa, who was on last week on the roundtable. You work a lot with her on social media. Why? There's so much that I think goes into social media. But when I talk marketing with my clients and with new potential clients, when I'm perhaps like talking to them about what services we offer at Spot On Solutions, I talk about marketing should do a couple of things. Marketing should bring in new customers. Obviously, you want to grow your business. You want more revenue. Marketing should bring in new customers. And two, marketing should help you retain your current customers.
Absolutely.
So from a social media aspect, that's what we want to kind of dive more into today. In your mind, how does social media kind of accomplish those two things, especially in the service industry?
Right. Well, one of the first things, because we've kind of talked about customer retention, right? You and I have. And one of my very first things of another way that I can say that is customer loyalty.
Okay. Love it.
So not that retention doesn't make sense in my head, but when I think customer loyalty, I think we're keeping those customers. And how do you get somebody to be loyal to you? By building a relationship. And what does social media do? It connects people from all walks of life for all reasons. Whatever you can think of, it connects people. And it's a great way to build relationships with customers, whether to bring new traffic in and somebody sees you and has sparked some interest, or somebody knows who you are, they know your brand, they know what you stand for, what you do, and they buy into it. Essentially, one of my favorite things about marketing, especially through social media, is they're not necessarily just buying the services and the products, they're buying into the person. And like that whole relationship sells.
Totally. The majority of my clients started their business either by themselves or with a very small crew. So it's like them and maybe like one other person, or them and a couple other people. Eventually, they grow their business to more employees, more technicians or whatever. But yeah, they start it by themselves. And I think social media is often missed because essentially you're selling yourself.
You really are.
And the easiest way to do that in my mind is like a free social media account. And it's a great way to like sell yourself and your business. Now we, as a service, we'll manage social media accounts for certain clients of ours, and we charge a fee for that. But really, like the tool themselves, like the Facebook account, the Instagram or whatever, they're free.
They are.
And they're a great way for you to just connect with your customers, whether future customers or current customers. And there's so many social media platforms.
There really are.
Right now, like I feel like there's like seemingly a new one like every other month. Like it's crazy to me. What social media platforms do you think people should really be focusing on right now?
I think Instagram and Facebook are gonna especially for the service industry. That's definitely where we see the most traction and traffic that comes through. Honestly, anything that you're willing to put the time into is what I'm going to say, because social media 100% is time consuming.
Yeah.
It might be free, but it is time consuming. But if you're willing to put the time into it and treat it like a tool, not just I'm out here to get to know everybody, but you treat it like a tool, it will work for you.
Yeah, social media is fascinating with regards to that. The way I like to explain social media to people, we've had our boss, Derek Priest, has come on the podcast a few different times. The owner of Spot On Solutions, one of the owners. He talked about a story. I don't know if he talked about it on the podcast, but he's told me before. So when he owned his own like cleaning and restoration company, one thing that he did was he would go out to like large community events. He'd go to golf tournaments or even just like his son's baseball tournaments, and would pull up on a trailer that had his logo on the side of it and would give out free pulled pork sandwiches.
That's what I was going to say. Is this the pork sandwiches?
It's a pulled pork
story?
sandwiches thing, right? And he couldn't track, we get as marketers and as people that own businesses, I think we get caught up in what's the ROI?
Right.
I spent $1 here on a pulled pork sandwich. What's my ROI on that? Derek went into it, was like, I'm not going to care about ROI. And he's not going to necessarily giving out a pulled pork sandwich to someone doesn't mean the next day that person is going to call you and say, can you come clean my carpets or my basement flooded?
Right.
But it's this engagement with potential customers or current customers, because he'd go to, his son's baseball games and he'd see people that he's helped in the past. And it was a way for him to, build a relationship with them and to keep top of mind for them. So, hey, maybe they don't have a flood in their basement, but
maybe their neighbor does.
But their neighbor
maybe
does.
Their friend does.
And they will recommend them because, hey, Derek Priest gave me a free pulled pork sandwich the other day at my son's baseball game. Or I saw Derek post on social media about something cool that he did recently, and I know he's a good guy. So I'm going to share this post with my friends, or I'm going to say, hey, you should go call this guy because he knows what he's talking about, right?
And a lot of that relationships, and I think people thrive and we live for connecting with other people.
Yep.
And when you can make your customer or somebody feel appreciated, feel heard, feel valued through your business, they're going to remember that and they're going to stick around.
Oh, yeah. Big time. And social media, again, it's just like you're not necessarily, especially with organic social media. Now you can run ads on social media. That's a whole other thing. We don't even necessarily have to get into that. But organic, just like taking a picture of a job that you're on and posting it on social media, you're not going to be able to track what your return is on that. You're not going to be able to say, because I posted this, I got a job the next week. But that's not, you've got to change your thinking when it comes to social media.
And you have to look at the different measurements because there's so many different ways that you can track and collect data from social media.
Yep.
Like we've been doing a lot on our own social media, and we might not feel like we're getting a ton of followers, but our reach has almost 1,500% increased in the last 2 months since we've started posting on social media.
Yeah.
That's not guaranteeing that we're getting jobs necessarily from it or we're getting new clients, but that engagement and that reach goes up and has the potential to bring us those customers that are going to stick around.
Okay, you're talking buzzwords. I want to explain some buzzwords to people. So talk reach and engagement. Talk those two things. So what's reach? What's engagement? Why are they important?
So reach. Let's say we put out a post, right? We want to know exactly how many people have come across that. That's going to be our reach. Is how far has this post reached? How many people have we touched?
How many people's it gotten in front of?
Yes.
They don't necessarily have to click on it or share it or do anything?
Just that have seen it. All it had to do was come across their screen, whether that was computer or phone.
Okay.
Now, engagement is somebody who sees your post and does something about it, whether that's a like, a comment, a share, sending it to somebody else. Those would be all considered engagements.
Okay. So going back to reach, how do you reach more people? So you saying our reach over the last couple of months, because we've changed some things, has gone up
significantly.
What has gone into reach? Is reach tied to engagement? Like, does more engagement equal more reach? I guess how do we reach more people?
It's kind of a loaded question.
Okay.
Because it is going to depend on the platform. So depending on algorithms that these social media which is a whole nother animal and beast in of itself, depending on how these algorithms are currently set up at the time, because that's the other thing, algorithms change all the time, can influence how that reach and that engagement is being, how your content essentially is being pushed out to people who can reach and engage with it.
Gotcha. Okay. So, for example, like, should a client of ours, like let's say they're doing some organic social media, and they've got maybe 100 followers or a couple hundred people that like them on Facebook or something. They make a post. They should try. Well, what should they try to do to maybe get that post out on Facebook to more people? Do they get people to comment on it? Do they share? I guess all of the above.
Yeah, and it's kind of, I don't want to say like there's a bullet point or there's a list of things that you can do, but there are some things that when you do create content that you should do. Look into seeing how to use hashtags properly.
Yep.
There's not been as much of a huge push. At one point, there was a huge push that hashtags are like the way to get reach, and that definitely has decreased.
Okay.
But it's still a way to
it's still a way to
push
connect,
things out, and I don't want to dive too deep into it because Instagram just rolled out a new feature that instead of using hashtags, you can use topics.
Oh, okay.
And so that's a way to, again, push things out. But so being aware of kind of what your topics are and who your audience is, and really catering and creating authentic, genuine, and valuable content is going to be a big part on whether or not people engage with your social media platforms and help push that reach. Because the more engagement you do get, the more that reach is going to go up.
You know, we've shifted how we think here at Spot On Solutions a little bit over the last 6 months to a year. We used to really think, at least in my opinion, we used to really think that like you just need to have consistent content. That's all that matters. So like schedule 3 posts a week, and that's how you're going to grow your brand. And we did that a lot at Spot On Solutions internally. And we still do that to an extent. I think there's still something to be said about consistency.
It's still part of the strategy.
But I think just to hit on what you've just said, it's much more important to have like good quality content. And you could post as often as you want if it's quality. And if it is relevant to your audience, if it's quality and it's relevant, there's no limit to how many. We used to really think, our audience is going to get tired if we post too much. They're not going to want to engage. But if it's good content,
nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
If they can engage with it and they find it
every day or multiple times a day.
Yeah.
If it's good content.
If they find it educational, inspirational, or entertaining, people will engage with it, regardless of how much content you're putting out. You can post as little or as less.
Yeah.
Like as more or as little.
So engagement, everybody has seen, at least maybe I have, I don't want to say everybody, but on Facebook, I see all the time, my friend commented on a post, and it shows me a post of someone that I'm not friends with. I don't follow that particular page.
But it shows you what they engaged with.
But I see what they engage with. That's like, reach is important, and you can build that reach. Like I see posts all the time on Facebook that I would not have seen if my friend hadn't posted or hadn't commented on it.
Yeah.
Or my friend hadn't liked it or whatever. So like getting engagement, building engagement, and that's done by, like you said, creating entertaining, educational content. If you can do that first, you're going to get more engagement. More engagement is going to equal more reach.
Yep. So
important. Okay. Well, I wanted to, there's a bunch of things there that we talked about. Building a relationship with your customers is hugely important. If you could distill it down to like one thing, we really specialize at Spot On Solutions in the home service industry, and services like restoration contractors and carpet cleaners and plumbers and electricians, whatever. I think a lot of times social media is so far down their list, especially if it's just one guy or a couple guys. They're just like, we don't have the time for it. Why? We've hit on it multiple times, but why do you think a home service based industry, a company within the home service industry, should have social media accounts or should put an emphasis on social media?
Some of that is, one of my first thoughts is it is more real estate. out there.
Yep.
It really is. You put your name out there, you put your brand out there, you put your logo somewhere. It just gives you more of an opportunity for people to see you. I mean, I think it's up to like 4.7 billion people are on social media now. And you can't tell me that those people aren't your customers, or that there's not somebody out there that's not your customer.
Yeah.
So creating those social platforms is just going to give you more real estate. But I think a big kicker is it's way easier to build a brand, put it on one place or put it on one platform or multiple platforms than it is to try and nurture and build individual relationships with whoever you can find on the street, with Joe Schmo or whoever it is. But if you can create a following and you can get people to buy into your brand through social media, you can nurture that relationship with a lot more people all at once.
And at the end of the day, like, it can cost a lot less. Like, it can be way cheaper than going out and putting flyers on people's doors or knocking on doors or, advertising in the local, on your local radio station or whatever. Like, doing stuff as simple as just, hey, like posting on social media and trying to build an audience.
Content is free.
Yeah, it's free. Love it. Sierra, thank you. This has been
thank you.
This has been fun for me. I want to do more of these 15, 20-minute conversations to kind of learn or help educate our audience a little bit more about some of the things that we just spend a lot of time talking about.
We spend a lot of time talking about
our days are consumed with social media and marketing and growing people's businesses. And so I love having guests on and talking and hearing about their stories of starting businesses. But I think it's going to be good for us here at Spot On Solutions to talk to our audience about some of the things that we talk about every day. So that's the goal. Real quick, you are on the Success Elevated podcast, which means you got to get hit with some rapid fire questions.
I've been practicing, Hayden. I've been listening to all the podcasts.
Okay.
I'm invested. I'm ready.
Okay. So we're going to hit you with the 3 questions we ask everybody that comes on the podcast.
Ready.
We didn't do it last week because of the roundtable, but we're going to do it this week. So first things first, favorite book or podcast that you're reading or listening to right now?
One of my favorite podcasts that I absolutely love listening to is called The Daily Boost. And they're kind of like this. They're really short. Maybe, I think they might be closer to like 10 minutes at the most.
Okay.
But they're very uplifting and thought-provoking insights that really kind of make me stop and think and just put me in a good mindset for the entire day.
Love it. The Daily Boost. That's one we haven't heard. So
I love it. It's on.
That's great. Okay. Next thing. We all have long days in the marketing realm, helping clients, dealing with problems with websites or Google ads or whatever. How do you relax at the end of a long day?
I think one of my favorite things to do is my husband and I have horses and dogs. We've recently started doing stock dog training.
That's awesome.
And working with dogs to like move livestock and to compete in that industry.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of fun. I don't do near as much of the training or the handling, but I love being able to watch it and take pictures and see the progress. And it's just super rewarding, even after a long day, to go and do something that my husband and I like to do together.
Oh, that's fun. Love it. Okay, last question. How long, first follow-up question, how long have you been doing graphic design?
The truth.
Yeah, the
dirty
truth.
truth. Okay, so this is my first like graphic design job employed by somebody else since graduating.
Okay.
I freelanced for a while and did a lot of just like logos and stickers and small like individual designs for like Western boutiques.
Oh, love it. Okay.
For about a year before I started working here. Get Found First.
So you've been here, you're coming up on 2 years. So,
a year
here, but 2 years total, total in graphic design. If you could rewind to the beginning of it, what's one thing you would tell yourself?
To trust myself.
Okay.
I think I was really hesitant to start doing anything and even to look for a job like this. I was like, I don't have the experience that everybody else has. Who's gonna take a chance on me?
Yeah.
But who's gonna take a chance on me when I don't trust myself to give myself a chance?
Yeah.
And so I think my biggest thing would be to trust yourself, because I know more than I think I know. We're our biggest critics.
Yeah, we are.
And it's okay to be a big critic, but it's also okay to be your biggest hype man too.
Oh, love that. Love it. Okay. That was fantastic, Sierra. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Thanks for talking social media.
Thank you.
I'm excited to have you on again. I'm sure we will, because we're going to be doing more of these Spot On Solutions talks.
I love it. I love it. I'm so excited, Hayden. I'm so excited for this.
We're going to be doing more of these topics where we kind of dive further into these marketing topics to try and help our audience learn a little bit more about what we're doing and how you can grow your business. So that's the goal.
I love it.
Thanks, Sierra.
Thank you.
This has been Success Elevated, making you a little bit better one show at a time. Thanks for joining us. Please subscribe on YouTube or any other major podcast platform to listen to more episodes. We are proudly brought to you by Spot On Solutions. If you'd like to learn more about how we can help you grow your business, please check us out at spotonsolutions.com.